Hi guys, many years ago I had a request to make a car out of ice, which I did. I cast some ice in the fridge with axle tubes already in it, and then just used it as a gravity powered car. In other words, it went down a slope. Anyway, I was in Poundland and they're selling these ice pops, as they call them. And I wondered if I could make a rubber band powered car with them. I can't even get them open. Oh, there we go. Right. So what we have is these plastic tubes full of liquid that you freeze. So these are frozen ice pops. And I was wondering if I could actually use them. Now, I mean, the usual thing would be to make a 3D print an axle bracket for either end, and then just use them as the chassis. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Whether I want to use a pair of them or just one on its own. One on its own would be quite interesting. It's going to get messy because obviously it's going to start to melt fairly quickly. I've got my digital caliper, as it calls it there. Micrometer, I would have called it in the old days. Maybe I'm wrong. Come on, 0. There. Yeah, if we took it out of the plastic, if we crush that a little bit, 28. Yeah, in a perfect world, I'd take it out of the plastic. Don't know how strong it will be. Not very strong, especially when it hits the wall at the other end. I expect it will just break. But on the face of it, shape something like that, and that's 28 millimeters wide. Because they're all going to be different depending on how they've been sitting while they've frozen. Actually, I suppose the best thing I could do is let them melt, put them back in the fridge individually so they can lay flat and just settle out, so they haven't got that sort of funny shape to them like that one has. Yeah, I might do that. I might leave these out, let them melt, and then lay them in the fridge carefully so they can form a natural shape. So I reckon we can make it about 10 millimeters. Yeah, if I squeeze it, quickly melts. Once you put a bit of pressure on it. So that's to be something like 10 millimeters that way. And then we probably want to make it about it's going to break whatever it does, and it's going to make a mess of the floor. But if we make it about 20 millimeters long, and then it's a matter of, do we use 2 of them? Yeah, okay, there's a bit more to this than I'd hoped. But I think that's what I'll do. I'll leave them out, let them melt, then put them in, hopefully so they lay flat and freeze straight. And then they might be usable. And then we'll have to decide whether we're going to take them out of the plastic when we use them, or leave them in the plastic. Leaving them in the plastic means we won't make a mess. And I don't think the plastic's actually adding any strength to it. So, yeah, that's probably what we'll do. I'll design something, just the usual sort of thing. And then the actual tube, or whatever you want to call it, ice pole will go along that way. And this way we'll need a couple of little loops on it for the axle to go through the middle. Very rough sketch. So all we're using is using them as cross members for the chassis. Okay.
Quite a bit of support layer going in there. Bit of an awkward shape I've come up with. Don't like it when it needs a lot of support layers. It's just wasted the PLA. Several hours to go yet. Only 35% done. It's about a 5-hour print on this one. Right, finished. It's going to take a bit of releasing. There's a lot of support layers there because of the shape of it. And then that's where our ice pops should slide in. It did occur to me that I could put them in there while they were melted and let them freeze up, but that might expand and split it. So we'll try plan A first. Pre-frozen, and just try and slide them in.
Right. I'm going to use wheels from toy cars rather than make them. You have to be reasonably quick because these will melt. It's a warm day today. I think to make them fit, I'm actually going to have to warm them up a little bit in my fingers here. Yeah, so we can actually get them to fit. I think I mentioned in the previous clip, I did consider actually putting them in there first and then freezing them. But I thought they might expand as they freeze, and that'd be worse because they'll split the plastic. That's gone soft. Well, I'm glad I didn't take them out of the plastic containers. We'll see if we can get one run out of it, and then, as I say, might have to put it back in the fridge. Okay, so it sort of works. I'll try one more run, and then I'll have to put it in the fridge to refreeze it. Well, summary time. Not one of my most successful builds. Need to rethink this idea. Probably easier to clamp them round the outside rather than trying to push them in to hold them in place. I ended up putting them back in the fridge to get them to freeze in position, which is something I said right at the beginning. But it wasn't easy. But it is now running. It'll probably fall apart if I try and do this with one hand. Oh, and it turns right a bit, because if you look at that you can see the back axle is twisted, or at least the link, that's further down than that one, so it's going to go turn to the right. That'll do, it works, but not a good idea, or could be better.